American Giant, founded in 2011. Talk to us a little bit, just to set the scene, about the founding mission to be made in the USA.
Well, that was a good chart you just put up there. I think that's part of what's at the root of it. I'd spent a lot of my career in manufacturing and moving American jobs overseas. And when you do that enough in your career, you confront the reality of both how that disconnects you from the product that you're making, but at least for me, more importantly, the impact that jobs going overseas has on urban and rural communities. And I felt that was a problem that needed addressing in the country. I think we're in a place today where we're not doing a good enough job providing good, meaningful, dignified work for low-skilled and middle class and lower class jobs. And so I wanted to make a point that it was possible, even in an industry that is not well positioned to remain domestic in textiles and clothing. So I founded American Giant with that mission, trying to make great quality clothing here. And, we're now 13 years into the mission and things are going well. But I think it's an important national discussion for all of us to be having about our plan for future manufacturing jobs in America.
Well, Bayard, the natural next question would be, are your clothes more expensive to make and manufacture in the United States versus if you had outsourced it?
Yeah, of course they are. I think one of the ironies about the way that we've constructed trade policy today is that we've said to our domestic manufacturing companies, you've got to adhere to the highest standards, and that's appropriate. Minimum wage laws, environmental standards, human rights standards, worker safety standards, and at the same time, we've let our brands exploit countries that don't adhere to those standards, and that's a really uneven playing field, right? That if I'm supportive very much of those high standards, but we ought to be trading with and working with countries that are adhering to them. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me to say that we care about the environment or we care about human rights or we care about a living wage and then let all of our major brands go to places where they make those things where they don't have to adhere to those standards. So we lose American jobs, and we also don't adhere to the standards that we care about as Americans. And that's an imbalance that our politicians need to get focused on and pay attention to and fix. So the answer is it is definitely more expensive, as it ought to be in my mind, because you're paying for things that support our values as consumers and as Americans.
Well, how do you navigate the fact that, just making clothes in the U.S., like you said, of course, it's more expensive. Does American Giant eat those costs, or do you pass them on to your consumers?
Well, we do a little bit of both. And so we pass on those costs to consumers. You just asked the question, is our clothes more expensive? That's one way of passing on those costs. We charge more for our clothing because it costs us more to make it. But one of the ironies is that in textiles particularly, but this is true of manufacturing in general, if you basically allow all of our manufacturing to move overseas, strangely, you retard innovation and investment in technology and automation in those industries. In our case, because we've made the decision to stay domestic, we don't have that option. And so we've invested a lot internally in efficiencies, manufacturing, engineering, automation that have allowed us to, little by little, close down that gap in costing. And so it's encouraging that that's available, and it would be great if more retailers and more brands got into the mix to add more volume to the domestic flow. But we do a little bit of both. We charge more for our clothing, but we also are investing a lot in efficiencies internally to keep us more and more competitive against our international competitors.
Well, of course, that message certainly sings with a lot of potential investors. So let's talk about one of them. And that, of course, is WeWork co-founder Miguel Melia. I hope I said his name right. So he paid Miguel. He paid $10 million for a controlling stake in the company in 2022. Of course, you make the day-to-day decisions to American Giant, but he also helps with the strategy and branding. Can you tell us about some of his contributions since he actually became part of American Giant?
Yeah, he really, in my judgment, was the sort of spiritual force behind the concepts behind WeWork, which were pretty profound about addressing workplace environments that were not great for humans. And that was his sort of motivating force. And we met through a connection. We've both been interviewed by a similar interviewer. Excuse me. And we started talking a lot about how it's great to be spending time on white collar jobs, but there's similar problems, maybe worse problems for blue collar working class jobs. And we spent very little attention thinking about what it's like to work in manufacturing centers and manufacturing facilities across the U.S. And that conversation began really as just a philosophical one that, part of what we all ought to be doing is thinking about how we improve the working conditions of our fellow Americans. And that really quickly began to orient around manufacturing jobs, which is something that he's particularly interested in. And obviously we're very interested in. And out of that began to be an alignment of minds, I think, and an opportunity for him to apply some of his learnings about the workplace experience and us to benefit from that experience and some of that capital to try to make our supply chain a better, more interesting, more invigorating place to work. So it's been an amazing partnership. He's an incredibly insightful and bright human, and comes at it from a slightly different angle than we do. So he's been a great partner to us, and someone that I'm kind of regularly airing pretty fundamental questions about how we make manufacturing a great place to work again, and not something that we think of as an afterthought, and always emphasizing that we all have to have amazing 4-year college degrees, but there are other opportunities and other careers for Americans that may not want to become I don't know, an accountant or some other job, but may want to work with their hands or work in the making of things.
So that partnership, it's been in place since 2022. Of course, the company, like we mentioned, was founded in 2011. Let's look ahead. In the last minute I have left with you, would you ever consider taking the company public, or are private markets the right place for you?
I think that the trick to me about excuse me, the public markets is the investor dynamic requires that you look quarter to quarter. And that is great for shareholders, add some discipline for companies. It's not great for long-term planning. It doesn't allow you to do things like invest in automation, for example, in domestic manufacturing. It probably is not reflexively supportive of, if it cost me 5 or 10 cents more to make a T-shirt domestically, investor pressure would appropriately be applied to the margin impact of that. And so I think my instinct tells me that staying private is a better long-term plan. We're in this for the long haul. It really is as much a mission and values-based business at American Giant as it is about a money-making venture. And so I think we're pretty focused on trying to build a great company that's going to endure and hopefully set an example for the rest of the apparel industry, that it doesn't always have to default to the cheapest way to make things, that we have responsibilities beyond that, and hopefully we set an example for them to follow.